Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us today to honor our Mohegan class of 2022. I would all ask that you stand as we honor our graduates in their procession. The graduates are being led into the area here by our counselor, Mrs. Stephanie Priscorn, and the staff of Mohegan High School. The Mohegan High School class of 2022. Thank you, and please remain standing. Gentlemen, remove your hats, place your right hands over your heart, and join us as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Jim Fields, and I have the honor of being the supervisor of Mohegan High School. Welcome to our 2022 Mohegan High School class commencement ceremony. Congratulations, class of 2022. Thank you, parents, family, friends, for being with us here today to celebrate these fine students. We truly appreciate your support. At this time, I would like to introduce our school board members and central office administrators and would ask that they stand when they are announced. From our Board of Education Vice President, Ms. Denise Aquino. Board Trustee, Mr. Kenneth Pearl. And Board Trustee, Mr. Robert Wojtowicz. From our central office, Mr. Ronald Roberts, Superintendent of Schools. Dr. Donald Broski, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. Mr. Paul Sibley, Executive Director of Secondary Education. and Dr. Karen Langlands, Executive Director of Innovation and Learning. Thank you all for being part of our ceremony today and for your support. Finally, I would like to introduce the staff of Mohegan High School, and again, I would ask that you rise as your name is called. Mrs. Stephanie Pristorn, our counselor. Ms. Maria Gossich, School Secretary. Mr. Warren Rupp, Art Teacher. Mr. Timothy Martell, Social Studies Teacher. Mrs. Lisa Vanya, English Teacher. Mr. Scott Perryman, Health and PE Teacher. Mr. Thomas Bell, History Teacher. Ms. Sarah Piepenbrock, Science Teacher. Mrs. Jennifer Saminsky, Student Mentor. And Mr. Sean Taylor, Student Mentor. I do have one more graduate. This is just a special message for you from Mrs. McKnight. She was unable to be with us here today, and she gave me a message to give to you guys because she didn't want you to think that she didn't like you, because she loves you very much. I'm not telling you anything that you don't maybe know already, but you might know, or if you don't know, a few years back, her husband had a heart attack, and it led to actually a brain injury. And so he has been retired for a couple of years, and he had been in Florida with his parents on vacation to get away from our lousy weather. And they were going to come back up because the weather is starting to get better, right? But he actually had to have emergency surgery. So he's okay. Everything's going to be all right, so I don't want you to worry. But he did have to be put in the hospital. He's having surgery, and so she had to fly down there yesterday to be with him because his parents are getting older, and she needs to be there to help out and be with them. So she wanted me to tell you guys how proud she is of you, how much she loves all of you, and she cannot wait to see all the things you're going to do in the future. So that's a special message from her to you guys. Parents, I want to thank you for the opportunity that you've given us as a staff to work with your children. They don't like it when I call them children, but they're still children to us, the way we look at it. The good news is, sending them back to you right now as adults. But you guys all know that you have poured an incredible amount of blood, sweat, tears, hopes, dreams, prayers, and let's be honest, a lot of money into getting these guys to this point. I thank you for doing that for them. As a fellow teenage parent, a parent of teenagers, I should say, I know what you're going through. I didn't always understand it when I was younger doing this job, but I do now, and I salute you. My hat's off to you because it takes a lot to get here, and this is a special group of people, and I thank you for all that work and effort and love and everything that you poured into them. And I thank you on behalf of the staff and myself for the opportunity you've given us to be a part of their education and a part of their journey in life, because they're a special group of people, and thank you for that. All right, this is the part where I get to talk to you guys. This is like my favorite part of the whole school year because you can't really leave because you don't want to look rude, plus your parents are mad because you don't have your diploma yet, so you have to sit there while I talk, which is pretty much my dream in life. That's like my dream job, right, to talk. So the crazy thing is, though, I want to tell you a little story. I have been doing this every June since 2005. I get up here, I stay up, to go through the whole thing. I MC this whole thing. I give a little charge to the graduates. And so usually about 2 or 3 weeks before graduation, I sit down with the computer and I kind of type something out that I want to say to you guys. Well, a couple weeks ago, I sat down and I just stared at the screen. And I kept staring at the screen. Kept staring at the screen. And it's like, well, writer's block, I'll come back to it in a couple days. Back to it in a couple days, nothing. What is going on? I think I should have a lot to say. And I would start writing and I would erase it because it sounded dumb once I said it. And I'm like, I don't like that. And I would write again and I would erase it. And I just couldn't do anything. And this went on for like the last 2 weeks. And I even told Mrs. Prisco when we were talking about it, and I said, I don't know what to write. Well, this past Friday, 2 days ago, kids were at school, rushed them out when they were done, sat down with the staff. We had our meeting like we have every Friday. Went back to the office, and I said, okay, I gotta do this. I'm sitting there, and I'm staring at the screen, and I'm staring at the screen. I don't know what's going on. I can't think. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? I gotta figure this out. And then I heard a voice, and it happened to be Nabil's voice. And it said, come on, cuz, get this written so you can go home tonight. And I started laughing. This literally happened. I started laughing. And I said, okay, well, if Nabil's telling me to do it, I gotta do it. And I realized why it was so hard. I knew that I was gonna get to this point today, and I was gonna stand up here in front of you, and I was either gonna break down crying because I was just so excited and happy, or I was just not gonna be able to talk at all. Which I know sounds crazy because I like to talk, and you know I like to talk. But what I realized was that this group, all of you, have been such a great group to be with. 2 years ago, right, and I remember because it was my birthday, March 13th, 2020 was your guys' last day of 10th grade, right, when you were in person. And since then, you've kind of been on a roller coaster, right? It's just been nutty. And I hope everything's okay. I hope they're not coming to get me, actually. That's the most important thing. And you've been on this roller coaster. And when you were coming into us in the fall, because that was going to be like first time, everyone in school, full days, all this stuff, because last year, you know, was kind of crazy, right? I was a little worried. I didn't know what to expect. And you guys know how it is if there's the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen, not understanding maybe what's ahead of you. You get a little nervous. And I was like, okay, are they going to be wild? Are they going to be just like super unmotivated? I got to like, you know, hold the pen in their hand to make them right. Are they going to be disrespectful? What's going to happen? And you guys showed up. And from day one, you were like none of those things. Well, a little wild once in a while, but not, you know, too bad. But what you were and are is amazing. This has been such a great year for me professionally, watching you guys in school, doing what you need to be doing, getting to know you, your sense of humor, the character that you bring to the table. This has just been a very special class. It's a great group of people that are sitting here in front of me today. Parents, I want you to know this is a very, very, very special group of people. And I thank you for it. I thank you for the experience you've done. You guys have so much to give to the world, and you have so much to offer. Many of you are already, you've already like started, you're running and doing those things already. You just took off, it's like you were done with school and you just kept running, right? Some of you, you think back to the fall, you were like, I don't know if I'm gonna even be able to do this. And here we are in June, you're sitting there, and in a couple minutes we're gonna hand you a diploma because you earned it. You worked really hard this year, you got there. And some of you, like I said, you were thinking, I don't think I can do this. But you did it because you didn't stop believing in yourself. And in fairness, these people over here, they helped you out a lot. You know, I hope some of my dad jokes helped. But these guys over here I know were there, and they were pulling you along too when you might have, you know, taken a step back, and every once in a while we'd give you a little shove, you know, but you did it, and you're here. I'm incredibly proud of all of you. I think that you have, like I said, so much to offer. We are so excited to see what you're going to do in the future. Just make sure you let us know. When you do these awesome, amazing things in life, let us know. We started, Mrs. McKnight started a little section there on the side of the hallway there, a little wall with all the people and all their great achievements, our graduates. I want to see your guys' pictures and stories up there in the next couple of years, because I know it's going to be awesome. Great job, class of 2022. Very proud of you. We love all of you. Thank you so much for being part of our school. So normally I introduce our keynote speaker right now, Mr. Roberts, and I give a big long speech about all the things that he does, and it really impresses adults. So all of us old people were like, wow, that's a lot of work, you're doing a lot of stuff. You guys are a little different, because I think what will impress you the most is the fact that we have a social media influencer here to talk to you as our keynote speaker. You may know him from Twitter. You may know him as the man with the plan when it comes to snow days. He literally gets thousands of likes every time he announces a snow day on Twitter. If you see him with his feet up and a mug of cocoa, that tweet is going to get like 1 million likes. He's got thousands of followers, and they hang on his every word all winter long. They just want to see what he's going to say. But aside from all that, and of course we joke, even though we all do love the snow days, Mr. Roberts, so any of those you want to give us, we love them. Most important for you guys to know is that for really the bulk of his life, he has been serving Chippewa Valley Schools. He's been serving students just like you, families just like yours, in our community here, making sure that people like you get to this day today. And he's done a great job, and we're really happy to have him here with us. So please welcome our keynote speaker, our superintendent, Mr. Ronald Roberts.
So far, everyone's mentioned snow days at these things, and I think it's because this year was the year where everyone was desperate for a snow day, so it meant a little bit more than it normally does. But a couple things I noted from Mr. Fields' talk is, number one, he says that he really likes to talk. And I go around and visit each school, and I always schedule a half an hour with the administrator just to talk about how they're doing and what they think is going well in their school. And Mr. Fields' session took the record for length of time being with an administrator. Finally, some kids came and knocked on the door and said, "Are you going to come into our classrooms?" And because it was like an hour and a half in. We covered a lot of turf on that little talk too. But one thing I did notice that's been mentioned today is when I was there, and I heard it from the staff, I heard it from the office staff, the teaching staff, is the kind of group this group is, the kind of students they are. Just the joy of being together. And sometimes not all kids want to be in school, but they realize they need to be in school. So it's what you make of it. And I really had that sense in that building that day. There was just a sense of camaraderie and team. And that's not only a credit to these students here, but it's also a credit to the teaching staff, which I know really gives their heart and soul to ensure that these students graduate having the skills they need when they leave high school. So I do agree, I really saw a special year at Mohegan this year. So, and with that, I just want to thank our parents. Thank you for allowing us to educate your child who is graduating today. There are a lot of choices when it comes to schooling. You have choices for your children, and I really want to thank you for choosing Chippewa Valley Schools. And thank you to our students for all that you've contributed to our school district. School districts are much more than a collection of buildings. It's really about what occurs in those buildings. And our job as educators is to provide you with opportunities for learning, for exploration, for growth, for challenge, for experience, for collaboration, for understanding yourself better as a person, and for understanding other people better also, for learning to accept the differences in others, whether that be gender, ethnicity, skin color, orientation, and just as important, for learning to value the strengths in those differences, for it is these differences which provide the backbone to our great nation. But we look now and we're a melting pot, and that's what makes our society great, and our schools need to reflect that. So that's what we do as public educators. We provide opportunities in a diverse setting. Figuratively speaking, we just set the table. What you do is provide the open mind necessary to lead in your own learning and the drive to excel. And that will be true throughout your life. It will not be about what others do for you. It will be about what you contribute, what you bring to the table. Students, my biggest joy as a superintendent is to witness what you bring to the table. Experiencing your drive and dedication is fulfilling to me as an educator. I know that many of you have faced challenges. Nevertheless, you have displayed resilience, and thus you are sitting here today as a high school graduate. And as you move on, I ask that you be mindful of what it is you love to do and what you are good at doing, and let this always lead in your path forward. It's now time for you to start your next chapter, to seek out new adventures. And as you leave us, I ask you to consider what you have experienced in the last 2 years. I trust that you will use what you have learned from challenges we face together to make yourself a better person. And as you move on, always consider the greater good as you conduct yourselves, and always consider how your actions and words impact others. Keep in mind your actions and words represent who you are, so here are a few thoughts on how you can have a greater impact. Accept more, reject less. Compliment more, criticize less. Seek to understand more, judge less. Reach out more, isolate yourself less. Look to the future more, learn from the past, but dwell on it less. Consider what you can control more, worry about what you can't less. Get in the action more, sit on the sidelines less, and maybe most importantly, smile always. I know there is much excitement for what lies ahead for you. We expect nothing but great things as you make your way in the world. All I ask is you remember where you came from. Go forward with a sense of pride that you are a graduate of the Chippewa Valley Schools. And considering that, let me leave you with one final thought. I know I'm not the smartest person, nor am I the most talented in anything, nor the most creative, but I always try my best to bring a little joy to you by making the announcements of those beloved snow days fun. So go out there and chase your dreams by working hard, by giving it your all, but while doing so, always remember to bring a little fun into the lives of others. If that is what you are remembered for, that will be a noteworthy accomplishment. Best of luck to the 2022 graduating class of Mohegan High School. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Now I'd like to introduce to you Mrs. Stephanie Priscorn, our counselor, to present our valedictorian award.
Shift this down a little. All right. Good afternoon. I'm Stephanie Priscorn. I'm Mohegan's guidance counselor. As Mohegan's counselor, I have the honor of presenting Mohegan's valedictorian award. However, before I introduce this year's valedictorian, I want to congratulate the class of 2022. I'm so proud of each and every one of you for reaching this point in your lives. Many of you have had to jump through numerous hurdles in your lives to reach this point. The last few years haven't been easy, but you made it. You guys made it. This class holds a special place in my heart for a couple of reasons that I need to acknowledge. Looking at this class, I worked closely with many of you for the last few years, listening to you and helping you through various challenges. Thank you for trusting me enough to help you work through whatever challenges you were facing. For some of you, we've been through it all together, and I'm going to miss you greatly. This class also holds a special place in my heart because so many of you were determined to make it to the finish line this year. Many of you sat in my office at the beginning of this year, or even at the beginning of third trimester, and received the news that you were somewhere between maybe 1 and 5 credits short of reaching graduation. And instead of saying, I can't do it, and giving up, you said, I can do it, I'm graduating this year. And you did it. You guys sitting here, you did it. You put all that hard work in. And that's what life is all about. When life is difficult and you think you can't do it, or you don't want to do the really hard work, you change your mindset and you believe in yourself and you say, I can, because you did. I hope you're as proud of yourselves as I am of you. I have to acknowledge this class for one more reason. Last summer, I was diagnosed with some very serious health issues. On the second week of school, I decided to tell the students about my battle, since we are a Mohegan family, and I wanted to be transparent with the students, and I also needed to explain my frequent absences this year. Parents and guardians, I want you to know, and please be proud of your child today, not just for their academics, but because you have raised some very thoughtful and kind individuals. Throughout this year, so many of these students dropped by my office just to check in on me and show their support. I even received messages checking in on me while I was out recovering from surgery. And then they celebrated with me when I was declared cancer-free. Graduates, thank you. You don't know how much your words meant to me this year, and I truly appreciate them all. Thank you so much for all of your support. Now, I have the honor of giving the class of 2022's valedictorian award. This year's valedictorian is Haley Adams. Haley has only been a Mohegan student since the beginning of this school year, but has made the most of her time while here. Haley excelled at Mohegan, earning a 96% or above in 11 of her 15 classes this school year, and 5 of which were 100% or above. When I asked her why she thought she was able to be so successful at Mohegan, she stated it was because she felt her teachers cared about her and that she felt like she had a voice, as opposed to feeling like just another body in a classroom. Haley stated at the beginning of this year she had doubts about herself and wondered if she would be able to make it through the year successfully. She said she quickly felt welcomed into the Mohegan family and was happy that she was able to attend Mohegan for her senior year. Haley quickly became a quiet leader in the school this year as someone who was dependable and hardworking day in and day out. And I know her teachers cannot say enough about her. Haley is also an extremely talented artist, creating several excellent pieces of artwork this year. Haley plans on attending community college to explore some career options and then would like to transfer to a university. Haley, your determination, willingness to work hard, and wonderful personality will take you far in life. And I have no doubt that you will be successful whatever you choose to do in your future. On behalf of the Mohegan High School staff, I'm honored to present Haley Adams as the 2022 Mohegan Class Valedictorian.
Thank you, Mrs. Priscorn, and congratulations, Haley. Well done. Every year at Mohegan, we have students that distinguish themselves in every subject area. We're now at that point in our ceremony where the staff of Mohegan gets to take a moment and honor some special graduates. Now, these are all individuals who have demonstrated great skill, determination, and enthusiasm for the various subjects that they have been learning this year. I would like to first introduce Mr. Warren Rupp to present his awards.
Good evening, class of 2022, parents, grandparents, teachers, and distinguished guests. I would like to begin by congratulating the graduates on their accomplishments and also thank those who made the investment in them. Without your love and support, our graduates would not be here today. This year, I have the added privilege of recognizing two graduates for their achievement in both visual arts and school story. Although I could talk for hours about both students' merits in the classroom, for the sake of time, my colleagues, and the festivities at Mr. Field's house afterwards, I will try not to turn this into a filibuster. It's late August, only a few weeks before the start of the school year, when Mr. Fields tells me, I need you to take over school store. I agree, not having the slightest idea of what to do. Only that this is school store, and that means you sell stuff. My plan was simple. Start selling Takis, Slim Jim, and Arnold Palmer's, and the rest should take care of itself. Surely these crowd-pleasing staples could disguise my incompetence while I grew into my new role. At least for a couple days, right? Fortunately, I found the best school store manager to help shorten that learning curve. Imani's vocal and competent leadership quickly made her an indispensable asset on our sales crew. She always enjoyed the competition in trying to best our sales from the previous day. We enjoyed record profits during Imani's tenure as school store manager, including a single day sales total of $151, to my knowledge, also a record. But perhaps Imani's greatest strength was the ownership and pride she took in seeing our collective success. And not once did she allow our team to fail. This was especially valuable after holiday break when I tested positive for COVID-19. Imani motivated her peers and was magically able to stretch supplies for 10 days until I could return to school with a trunk full of Gatorade, Wild Berry Skittles, and Kinder Buenos from Sam's Club. It is an honor to present this year's award for School Store Excellence to Imani Armstead. As you already know, Imani, you leave very big shoes to fill. Congratulations. Since September, I believe there was a clear frontrunner for this year's Visual Arts Achievement Award. However, it took only a trimester to prove that I was very wrong and there was going to be serious competition. Until Tuesday, I was still undecided and had been going back and forth on which student would receive this distinction for over a month. There are a few students I've enjoyed having as much, and none I've enjoyed having in class more than Abby Hell. I've watched Abby grow from finding every opportunity she could to appropriate Takeshi Murakami's sunflower smileys, I wore mine for you today, Abby, into a young artist that is always exploring new materials and processes, but is at times still reluctant to move outside her sketchbook. The great surrealist painter Salvador Dali once quoted saying, "Nobody can understand Dali because I myself never understand my work." Never does Dali understand one painting of Dali, because Dali creates only enigmas. As you've heard me tell you countless times before, Abby, when in doubt, create enigmas. Don't be afraid. One of Abby's greatest strengths is her curiosity and childlike love for art. Seeing her eyes light up at the work of Frida Kahlo, Jake and Dinos Chapman, Kaws, George Kondo, and Hayao Miyazaki. From surrealism to contemporary, Abby loved every opportunity to look at more art and how it can inspire her own unique aesthetic. For me, there is an exceptional satisfaction in seeing our students apply what they've learned in my classroom and make art a part of their life. Abby is already teaching art classes, and her students are very lucky to have her. I could not be more proud to present this year's Artistic Achievement Award to Abby Halla. Congratulations, Abby. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Tim Martell to present the Ingenuity Award.
Parents, family, administration, most importantly, students. If you don't know me, please take a good look at my smiling, perhaps sweaty, red face. My name is Timothy Martell. At Mohegan, I am responsible not just for mentoring our Ingenuity students, but also teaching government, economics, and world history. Mr. Perriman and Mr. Bell both mentor Ingenuity students, and the three of us came together and we decided there was one student in this audience who deserves an award for what they have achieved in Ingenuity. Now, I don't think I've ever had a student who came to me and said, "I love Ingenuity. This program is just so fun." But I have had a student who completed 18 Ingenuity classes this year, and that student is Nabil Abu. In many ways, Nabil represents the ideal Mohegan student. Maybe a little bit rough around the edges when he comes in, but smoothed by everyone talking to him every day. In talking to the other teachers and staff, we all say, I cannot believe how far Nabil has come. Especially you, Nabil. From my 5th hour first trimester to now, you have made such an improvement. My last little thing about Nabil. So to assist my students, I created a Google Voice number so they could text me after school and tell me, "Mr. Martell, I need a quiz unlocked. I'm having issues with this." I cannot tell you the number of times that Nabil texted me at 2 in the morning when I was not awake to tell me, "Yo, dog, can you unlock this quiz for me?" Or, "Hey, Cuzzo, I hate to do this to you, but can I get a retake added here?" Or just inviting me down to Jimmy John's for a free sub on the house. So, Nabil, thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you for your hard work. Now come up and get this award, because you deserve it. He even called me dog when I handed him that. Okay, last but not least for me, I also created an award for my social studies classes. As I said, I teach economics, government, and world history. There are many, many students sitting here who I could have selected as the winner of my social studies award. There were so many memorable moments having discussions in government, unveiling new facts in world history, and examining the way that we make choices in economics. However, the student that most impressed me was Giuseppe Tocco. In economics class, not only did Giuseppe devote himself to the work harder than most of his peers, he also displayed an understanding of the topics and put them through a real-world lens. Now, if you don't know, Giuseppe has a job outside school. He does so many things. I cannot even begin to name them all. But Giuseppe, you have impressed me beyond words in my social studies classes, and I invite you to come up and receive this award. Okay, next up is going to be Miss Vanya for her English award.
Yay, Miss Vanya! I got you, girl.
Good afternoon, class of 2022. I am so proud of all of you. You made it through English and all the other classes. But I know English was especially hard for some of you. You know, I've been teaching at Mohegan for 14 years. And just like a lot of other years, this year has been full of a lot of those roller coaster ups and downs and successes and failures. And to be honest, I think it's really important to acknowledge that you can't have one without the other. You can't have success without failure. And you can't have failure without success either. A lot of you have ridden on that failure-success roller coaster, and I'm proud to say that you have made it to that other side, and you should be extremely proud of yourselves. Be sure to remember that as scary as those failures can be at times, that when you do get to the other side, it's well worth it. As for my English award, typically we give our awards to students who have been extremely successful in our subject matter. And usually they shine and they excel, and it's very obvious that that student stands out and has, in my case, a lot of skills in English. But this year it's a little different for me. This year, the English award goes to a very special student who turned failure into success. English class was never easy for her, but this year it was different. This year she picked her head up, quite literally, and forced herself to work really hard at it. Many times finishing at home because that's just what it took. Extra hard work and extra time. And sometimes that's what success takes. It's a special thing for a teacher to witness a student who typically struggles to figure it out and to become more comfortable with themselves and more confident in themselves and eventually succeed. And to be honest, it's why I chose to teach. And it's times like this that I find myself that I have true value in this little corner of the world with my Mohegan family. And so with that, I'm proud of all of you. I really am. I'm proud of every single one of you. I know this was a rough high school career for so many of you, and it's been different and challenging. Ultimately, it's been a success. And I'm very honored to be giving my award in English to Leslie Wall. Which, by the way, I have to thank Miss Pipenbrock because I had to fight her for you. But ultimately, I won. Up Up next is Mr. Perriman.
So in my speech, I hope hold for applause for about 4 to 5 minutes. So that was a little bit of a letdown, but it'll work. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the new guy, Scott Perryman. I was hired at the start of second trimester to teach physical education and health along with Edgenuity. And the word has been said so many times of family, and I appreciate you welcome me into your family. Let me first take a minute to recognize the entire graduating class, even those of you that have never seen me before. Some of you had me for multiple classes. Some of you only had me for Edgenuity and never knew what I looked like, and here it is. I'd like to take a moment to appreciate the job that you have done here. While your paths to get to this finish line have not been the same, you've all had the ultimate goal, and you've did it. You've done it. It's been a long and winding road with some bumps in the way, but you made it, and for that I want to say congratulations to the entire graduating class. There's my applause. All right. Now I have the distinguished honor of awarding my subject areas. First off, we'll start with wellness. This class is required to graduate and is often taken early in a student's career. This means that not many seniors are in the class, but evidently there was only one clear choice. This year's recipient was actively engaged in discussion daily, often filling the void where other students were reluctant to speak. This student was willing to ask questions when needed, look up answers that came up in discussions, and was always mature in a class that talks about many topics that can be difficult to discuss. Any assignment was done quickly and correctly, oftentimes exceeding my expectations. The student was always respectful and willing to help in any way. I'm excited for the student's future, some of which I've already heard is quite bright. Please join me in congratulating Roberto Gonzalez on receiving the award for wellness. I also teach a fitness class, also a requirement to graduate, but some students take it as an elective and some took it multiple times this year. There were many students that came to mind, but in the end, one student stood out from the rest. Throughout the trimester, we would go back and forth between the weight room and the gym, sometimes using both in the same day. No matter what the activity was, this student was open to the idea, even if it was new to them. They always gave their best effort, even if it was not something that they typically excelled in. This student was always encouraging others, especially in the weight room. This is because the weight room was like a second home to him. I hope that his passion for fitness continues, and I feel that it could ultimately become a career. Please join me in congratulating Salam Adam for receiving the award for fitness. And now we have Mr. Bell.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tom Bell, history teacher at Mohegan High School. And before presenting this year's History Award, I'd like to take a moment, like my colleagues have done, to commend all the graduates. We're proud of you. You showed a lot of resiliency in getting here to this point. It's not a newsflash when I tell you the last few years, especially the last two, have been quite challenging. But you navigated through it. You got through a pandemic. 100 years from now, people are going to be talking about what you guys went through. Your achievement today is a successful step in your life's journey. You're going to have more bumps along the road, but the tenacity you showed to get here should prove that you can get it done. Speaking of being successful, I'd like to present this year's History Award to a young man who showed a lot of effort, hard work. He was attentive, reliable, and a pleasure to have in class. In short, he was the go-to guy in history. This year's History Award goes to Chris Brown. Now I'd like to introduce Ms. Piper.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. For those who don't know me, my name is Miss Sarah Pfeifenbrock, and I've had the privilege of teaching science this year at Mohegan High School. It was my first year here, and I just want to thank both the staff and the students sitting here before me for welcoming me into your family. I really love it here, and you guys definitely showed all the love this school year, so thank you, everybody. For some people, science is a complicated subject to understand, and one they often just want a passing grade in so that they'd never have to take it again. But many of us possess key qualities of a scientist, like a natural curiosity, a determination for the truth, attention to detail, and creativity. And I see all of those qualities in Mr. Emmanuel Armstead. Frequently, in class, we would be learning about a particular topic, whether it was states of matter or gravity, and he would have a question for me. He was always seeking to understand more about the subject of the day. He wanted to know more than whatever it was we were covering. Probably the most common question I heard him ask was, so how does that work? Sometimes I would answer his question. Sometimes I would not know off the top of my head, since it was an excellent point that he brought up. And there were many times when I would tell him, don't worry, it's coming, we're gonna learn about it. It was nice when we would get to the topic that would answer his question, as he would immediately understand how all the dots connected. Still, it would often lead to another question that he had in mind. I really enjoyed having Emmanuel in class because his determination and curiosity were refreshing, as it showed that he was interested in learning science and not just a passing grade. He was one of the students that truly understood how each topic was connected and why there was a particular order to the way we were learning things. It was something that really stood out to me. I know it is that curiosity and determination that he possesses that will help him greatly in life outside of Mohegan. And it's one of the main reasons why I wanted to give him this award for excellence in science. Congratulations, Emmanuel, and thank you for all your questions.
Thank you, staff, and congratulations, awardees. Good job, all of you. We're now going to begin the presentation of our diplomas. Graduates, Nabil, don't let me down here. You're going to be number one, right? Because you're A. So you're going to come up this way and around. Get your diploma. Picture will be taken here, and you move off the pictures there. So parents, as we know, this is a great time to get a photograph, and we have the photographers here. They'll be taking two separate photos as your student comes across with their diploma. Mr. Tom Bell is going to read our diplomas for us. So Mr. Bell, if you would come to the stage, please. Mr. Bell is actually going to first read the graduates that were unable to be with us here today. So their names are read and recorded because they are part of this ceremony too. They're just not here right now. We want to honor them as well. Mr. Bell.
Again, graduates not in attendance: Jameer Barnett, Daniel Bealey, Eliana Colon, Gada Hadi, Jaden Harrington, Edward Jakai, Antonio Marinelli, Samantha Marinelli, Caleb McBride, Jose Munguia Torres, Art Pelusia, Ken Raganesi, Serena Renaud, Stephanie Schulte, Zach Streberger, Fadi Walid, and Stephen Youssef. Can we have a round for the students not in attendance? Now for the students in attendance. Nabil Abo. Salam Adam. Haley Adams. Alex Allard. Angel Orojo. Imani Armstead. Emmanuel Armstead. David Armstrong. Jamarian Boozer. Jaden Brooks. Christopher Brown. Jason Bryant. John Carlson. George Troika. Roberto Gonzalez. Abigail Dominguez. Ethan Fraser. Malfunction. Kayla Geisel. Abigail Hallett. Paige Hayes. Hannah Clan. Jordan May. Devon McGarity. Brooklyn Myers. Kyle Newsom. Brennan Packley. Caitlin Person. Frank Brzezinski. Patrick Reisig. Natalia Shaw. Savannah Shaw. Fabiola Situ. Jeremiah Standiford. Monica Stetschulte. Daniel Tepper. Giuseppe Tocco. Marianne Trendle. Sarah Vila. Leslie Wall. Kaylee Zachman.
Congratulations, graduates! Now, hold on. One more thing. One more milestone. Stand up, everybody. These graduates, this fine-looking group. All right. Take your tassels in your right hand. Oh, just the tassel. Come on, Nabil. Work with me here. Just the tassel. Just the tassel in your right hand. We're gonna wait for Nabil. I heard, there it is, all right. Right in. Now turn it to the left. It's official, Mohegan Class of 2022. Great job. Super proud of you. This is the end of the ceremony, but this is not the end of everything because you have a very bright future ahead of you. I need you to go out into that bright future and do great things. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for letting us work with these wonderful people. Have a great summer, everyone, and a great life.